Hi, my name is Giovanni Lopez. I'm so excited to be here with you today and talk about Genspace and the FIT Genspace programs, as well as some of the students that have been previous alums and some of their cool projects. So to begin, I want to just tell you a little bit about myself since I will be the main person helping you in the lab. My background is in biochemistry, but I've came to New York to study material chemistry at NYU. But I think if there's one thing you should know about me is that I love exploring these ideas, whether it is like making a microscope out of a DVD player, playing with microfluidics, 3D printing, just working on all sorts of things in the fields of biology, chemistry, physics. I love it all, and I really look forward to working with this next year's cohort of FIT Genspace Scholars. So let's get into talking about Genspace. So Genspace really is a very interesting place. It came about from a meeting between a artist, a journalist, and a scientist. Like this sounds like a bad joke, an artist, a journalist, and a scientist, walk into a Brooklyn living room. But something that they all shared in common was this passion for exploring biotechnology. They felt like they needed a space to do that, not only for themselves, but also for the community at large. And that idea later became Genspace. Genspace is the world's first community biology lab where they want to be a place for everyone to have a chance to access science, not only in the textbook level, but more specifically in the laboratory level. And we want to not only have it for everyone, but also be a part of the community. And I think the secret sauce, or the thing that makes Genspace really special, is that this kind of place kind of draws a lot of people from different perspectives, with different professions, with different ideas. It brings them all together, and it gives you such a potent mix of viewpoints that you can come in with an idea looking at it in a certain way and leave looking at it a completely different way, just being exposed to this community or this amalgam of ideas that really is transformational in just kind of changing the way that you think of things. Whether or not you talk to an artist, whether or not you talk to a scientist, or even a high school student, like it's being exposed to different ideas is such a strong attribute that Genspace has to offer. And it's a very special place. Here is our biology lab. It's a fully stocked molecular biology lab that has all the basics, from giving you a clean place to work with all our sterilization equipment or clean hoods, as well as having incubators galore to grow anything that you want at different temperatures, to the tools to basically modify organisms to make certain proteins, whether or not it's a pigment or a fluorescent protein, or just something to add to a fiber to strengthen it. You can do it here at Genspace. So I'll take a second to show you the lab. Hello, I'm currently here at Genspace, and we can start this small tour by looking to my left. Here we have the basics electronic station. So if you needed to work with anything electronics, we have an oscilloscope, various DC power supplies, multimeters, a soldering station, a heat gun, a 3D printer if you need it to make molds. But let me take you where the magic happens. Inside of our office space, there's also a lab. And this is Genspace Lab. In the back, we can see our -80. Our -80 hosts our library of organisms, anything that makes pigments or proteins, or even fluorescent proteins that come from jellyfish. We have microorganisms that have those special modifications in there. So if you want to play around with them, we have them. If we don't have them, we can order them and house them in our -80. If you're working with biologicals, we have a autoclave, which will keep everything nice and sterile. If you want a sterile environment to work in, we also have a clean hood, which kind of filters the air and avoids contamination that way. So we have the basics as far as a lab, which includes the consumables, but we also have the basics in a molecular biology lab, which include instruments like the PCR, which amplifies DNA. We have centrifuges that will help you purify the DNA and maybe make new mutations to certain types of DNA. We have incubators galore. If you have microorganisms that like to grow at 37 degrees, 30, 25, we have incubators for that as well. We also have a plate reader, a quantitative PCR, and a spectrophotometer to get concentrations of our stocks and solutions. And just basically all the reagents that you'll need. We have 3 working benches that are fully stocked with everything that you'll need, so you can experiment to your heart's content. So I hope one of you watching this video gets a chance to come visit to our space as a FIT Genspace Scholar. I think now more than ever is like the moment for sustainable design, specifically biodesign. Never in history has there been so many ideas so readily available, such a hunger for it. For example, the Biodesign Challenge, is challenging people to, come up with new ideas that have never been thought before and really push the envelope. And actually, the biodesign came from Genspace, so as one example. But there's other places that are just troves of information from like Arena to I'm blanking on the name, but the website where you can get the recipes for bioplastics. There's just such influx of information, and it's really the combination of art, sciences, engineering, and design all coming together to kind of push what can be done or what has never been done before, and kind of using nature as inspiration, as a collaborator, as something to kind of reintegrate back to the synthetic world. And I think sustainable design is something that Genspace has been doing for quite a while. Something that comes to mind is our expressive matter group. They are focused on exploring and creating, innovating different types of materials by looking at how the biology works and the design, what you can fix with the design or augment design. And we slowly want to move away from these unsustainable synthetic, oil-based products to make naturally products that would degrade and not last, hundreds if not thousands of years in the landfills. They work with bioplastics, with composites, and really try to push what they can do, how they mold, and what types of things it could be used for. So our roots in biodesign and sustainability are really, really solid as far as us here at Genspace. And I think that's kind of what drew this collaboration between FIT and Genspace. We have the biology, and we want to, we have this emphasis in making sustainable. And I think the testament to that is some of the alums that come out of there. One in particular, among others, is Valentina Gomez. She wanted to explore fibers and how you cross-link them and how you can make them more sustainable, natural, and basically using biology as a collaborator. She explored how you can use microbes to change them different colors, or how you can add different proteins to them or merge these proteins. And she came up with the design of basically putting these dyes or fluorescent markers inside of these E. coli and extracting them and putting them into the fibers, and making these synthetic high performance fibers, these natural fibers, high performance fibers, and later became this company called Werewolf, and they're really doing great. Another project that comes to mind of how Genspace tries to help with sustainability is Stephanie Stickles' project. She was working with bacterial cellulose, and she was exploring how you can, first of all, sew with it, but second of all, make it more sustainable. She realized that, hey, we're using commercial sugars that are exploiting sugar canes, like that whole unsustainable practice of shipping sugar canes. So she said, can we use local waste streams or byproducts of local things like breweries? Can we use that to feed these kombuchas and make it even more sustainable, in making this this bacterial leather much more useful. So here at Genspace, we explored, okay, what byproducts from, say, a brewery can you use? And what temperatures and what pHs can you like optimize? So how can you optimize this to make it, more sustainable? And my big tip of the hat to Stephanie Stickle for really pushing that sustainability and exploring this, which is absolutely great. Another interesting project was from Amy. And it's very interesting because when we look, for example, at this orange here in the bottom, like we might see that it's, just foliage and toss it into the trash. But Amy, what she saw was the color there. And I guess her question was, can we use that as some kind of pigment? Like, why is it that color? Can we use it as a pigment? Is it something that we can grow? So Amy decided to use aspergillus to see if she could use that as a pigment, harness that as a pigment. I know specifically the darker black pigment is really hard to manufacture synthetically, and it's very, very toxic. So can we make a natural alternative to this pigment? So here at Genspace, we worked on doing this safely and going about it in a way where we can test different conditions to see if we can get better staining, whether it is growing it with the types of aspergillus, growing at different conditions for different amounts of time, different pHs, to see what would be the overall pigmentation we can get on these swatches. So that's a really incredible, fascinating, just idea process. Not something that I would think of, but again, this merger of different ideas is what Genspace is about. So you heard me talk about some of these ideas, but we've also we're thankful enough to get some people giving some testimonials about their time in the program, and I think I want to highlight the last couple of minutes and give them the floor to kind of speak about it. We have them recorded, so I just added here. It's the brief intro on Tahia. She worked with kombucha or cellulose fiber in the lab, and I think she really loved it, but I'll let her tell that story.
Hi everyone, my name is Tahia Hussein, and I am currently the sustainability expert at Adidas London. I started the FIT Genspace Scholars program in the spring of 2018 during my junior year. Being a designer, we're often intimidated by, people who come from the other side of the world when it comes to science and math and all that. And I feel like having that space where it felt encouraged for us to have these relationships was really beneficial because I had so many questions. My journey started by me growing this dress out of bacterial leather, and I grew this dress. I had fully sewn it and it became a complete garment, and bringing it to Genspace allowed me to ask questions as to how and why I could do this. And some of my favorite people that were there during the program, Will and Rachel, they were both very hands-on with the members that were starting this program. And I felt very, very encouraged to put myself out there and actually share my project and talk about it and have these opportunities to really show what fashion or the future of fashion could be through science. And having this collaborative space, I think, is what our future innovation is going to be like. And that is exactly what biodesign is. And it allowed me to open up a whole new world because I saw more than just fashion all of a sudden. I saw materials that can be grown and sourced from, organisms around us, biological organisms that can really create our future materials in our future industry. And you're already seeing this within industry projects, a big one being, like pineapple leather, bacterial leather, dyes, and solutions that are overtaking, or alternatives that are being replaced on top of our chemical and toxic dyes that we're so used to seeing. And I think that's the change we need now. And what FIT Genspace Scholars Program does is give you that space to ask these questions. And so with that being said, yes, I would highly, highly recommend this program to FIT Scholars, because it'll be the starting point of your career if you wish to go down this path. Or if you're just curious, this is definitely a foundation base for you.
So another person that I also want to share their story of is Jonathan Matier. He came to us, I think, in 2019, 2018, and he was exploring different types of performance foams and gels for athletic shoes. And I'll let him talk a little bit about his experience.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Matier. I'm here to talk to you about my experience at Genspace. Genspace provided an area to learn outside of fashion while still maintaining the ability to implement those ideas with an artistic vision. I spent my time within Genspace studying biofoams and learning to construct my own. With the guidance of mentors and helpful people around Genspace, I was able to create a biofoam that meets standards used for modern shoes today. This opportunity did not stop there. I was then selected for an FIT-MIT accelerator program where I continued my studies. Now I am currently working on my own business with my brother and my friend. We currently 3D print a multitude of things while still developing our own biofoam further so we can sell the biofoam to artists and designers under the same brand, Danja Designs.
That's kind of interesting.
I wish you the best with your opportunity and I thank you for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day.
So again, thank you so much for listening to me and hearing more about Genspace, the FIT Genspace program. Please visit us anytime at genspace.org or contact us directly at info@genspace.org. If you have any questions, there will be a small Q&A with me after the presentation. But thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.